Hello, lovelies. You might be experiencing some ascension symptoms and you might not even know it. I'm trying to talk more about this ascension to the 5D, to this new earth that you might have heard about. For those that don't know, if you're having a lot of exhaustion, headaches, you might want to stick around and see if this resonates with you. Okay, so the number one thing I have here is frequent headaches. If you are experiencing a lot of pressure, tension in your head, if it feels like your head, like your brain is expanding, in like a painful way, if you just don't really understand why you always kind of have a pain behind your eyes, that type of thing, and it's just no doctors can figure it out and all that stuff, you might be experiencing Ascension. Constant or frequent exhaustion is a very, very common one. Just feeling depleted, feeling drained, waking up feeling tired even though you slept a lot, needing to take frequent naps throughout the day, just having a lack of inspiration or energy to get projects started, or starting them and not being able to finish them because your energy levels go whoop, whoop, whoop. That's a really, really good sign. And again, if doctors don't know what's going on with you, that's a really good sign that you might be experiencing Ascension. Change in your vision. Or lightheadedness. So if you start seeing spots, or you're seeing like tracers when you move your hands, you know what I mean? Like there's more of like I don't know how to explain it. Like the air you can see particles in the air, things like this. Just like a significant change in the way that you see the world, and the way that you feel in the world. Lightheadedness, dizziness. These are all signs. Anxiety. Oof, that's a big one. So a lot of you might be wondering, why do I feel so anxious all the time? It doesn't really matter what I do. I can't explain the reason why that is a part of Ascension. I think it's mostly just the ego going, what the fuck is happening? And then of course latching on to the one thing, fear, just like this is terrible, this is terrifying, and it is. But don't freak out. If you're experiencing a lot of these symptoms and you've gone to the doctor and there's nothing wrong with you, it's probably because you're going through Ascension, and you're not the only one. There are millions of people around the world that are experiencing this right now. I'm going to try to get through the rest of them a little faster. Feeling alien to others, frequent out-of-body episodes. Oh my gosh, this definitely has been the case for me for 7 years, and I thought there was something horribly wrong with me. I went to the doctor. I thought I had a tumor. I thought I was having seizures. I didn't know. But man, it's been scary. And now that I know that I'm not the only one, I just want to be a person who's sharing with others that you're not crazy. There's nothing wrong with you. And again, get checked out if you're worried, of course, do your due diligence, but you might just be having an Ascension. Vivid dreams, change in appetite. So for me, it's like my body started rejecting a bunch of specific foods. I had to start eating clean, and now my appetite has shifted, and sometimes I need to eat like every 2.5 hours, and sometimes I just don't really need to eat at all. I mean, I do eat, but it's just different. It changes, it fluctuates. Shedding friends and relationships is a definite sign that you are ascending, and a huge part of ascending is healing. So if you're on a healing journey, excuse me, if you're on a self-love and self-healing journey, if you're healing trauma and you're like realizing your life is full of narcissists or something like this, and you're shedding old friends, or you just don't relate to anyone anymore, that's a great sign that you are ascending. Rapid emotional growth, because of the healing that I just mentioned, is definitely a sign that you are experiencing the early stages of Ascension symptoms. And symptom sounds like a bad word, but it's really just to describe, right, what you might be experiencing right now. Hearing/downloading information. So it might not always be an audio download, but if you just start hearing random words or phrases or sentences in your head, or you wake up with a song in your head, so sorry, it might be because you are downloading information in your sleep, or just while you're sitting around, and you might not recognize it for what it is because you might have a really, really busy, chattery mind, and you might not have meditated or gotten to know who you are within that chatter. Who's the real you, your intuition, and what's the ego just blah, 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 chattering. So if you're hearing and downloading information, that's a very good sign. Seeing clear images in your mind's eye, in other words, visions. I have visions with my eyes open, I have visions with my eyes closed, but But basically it's just an image that appears in your mind's eye without you trying to prompt anything. You're just doing your thing, and suddenly you're seeing this very clear image in your mind. And it might start more faded in the distance as you hone your gifts, but basically that's a spiritual gift. And it's trying to show itself to guide you. You know, whether you believe in God or you're spiritual. Everybody's spiritual, that's the thing. Like, you might not believe in it yet, but we're all spiritual beings. But when you start having visions, that's what we were talking about, right? Yeah. When you start having visions, it's really your higher self, your guides, God, trying to communicate with you and through these visions. And it's really intense. I've been having them for many years now. It's overwhelming. Feeling intense emotions and purging intense emotions. So if you're like, why am I crying over this thing that happened a million years ago? Or why am I so emotional all the time? That's a really good sign that you're on the healing journey toward ascension. Reliving old wounds, trauma, healing as a default. So just like being in a constant state of healing and kind of measuring everything against that, like looking at the way that other people around you are living and just not relating to them because they're not focused on healing. Body aches, especially neck, jaw, and head. 100% for me, like daily. I have chronic pain already, but I honestly think that a huge part of it is the fact that I've been ascending for so long. The thing is that you can resist the process, and plenty of people do. You could start taking medication because you're like, I think I'm going crazy, and that's definitely going to shut down your connection to the divine, your higher self, your intuition. It's definitely going to cloud it up, and you'll kind of stop that ascension process right there. You can latch onto fear and resist, taking drugs, drinking alcohol, just, you know what I mean? All the ways that we numb ourselves. But yeah, basically, your ascension it's an opportunity to level up, to come to this new earth where it's more of a heart-based reality than an ego-based. And I think we can all agree we've been living in a very ego-based reality for a long time. And of course, culture to culture, but I think mainstream culture, we can all agree. Physical changes, noticeable physical changes. So you might be losing weight. You might just suddenly start wanting to dress or appear very different. I don't know. Sometimes it happens slower. Sometimes it happens quicker. But most of these changes are prompted from within. To start eating differently, to start treating your body differently, to start dressing differently. And if people have been commenting on that and you're experiencing a lot of these other things, you might be experiencing ascension. And then the last one I have is very similar. Change in personality, energy, and essence. So people might just comment on, like, you seem different. You just look different. Your energy feels different. If you're experiencing several of these together, at least 3 or 4, you might be in the beginning stages or farther along in the stage of ascension. So I don't want to go on and make this video really long, but I do just want you to know that I am a resource for you. That's why I'm here. I feel like I'm here to bridge the gap between the spiritual world and, the rest of society who don't necessarily believe in this stuff. But I don't want anyone to be hanging out there thinking that they're losing their mind or that there's something wrong with them, because I was that person alone for like 7 years and it was awful. And so I really want to do a service and just, even if you don't believe in this stuff, just consider the fact that you might be going through something that isn't, it's not, there's nothing wrong with you. That's basically what I'm trying to say. There's nothing wrong with you. And I do offer coaching for people who are experiencing ascension, who don't know what they're doing, or are trying to heal through trauma. I would love to work with you, but either way, hang in there. You're not alone. Sending love. All right, I'll see you next time.